Hey guys, it's Hazel. There's a lot of news surrounding Johnny Depp and Amber Heard right now. Before I get to it, I'll reiterate what I said in the last video. We read about the texts that Johnny sent to Dr. Kipper the day of March 7, 2015. That date is quite possibly when he lost the tip of his finger to Amber Heard throwing a vodka bottle at him. He texted the following to Dr. Kipper. I cut the top of my middle finger off. What should I do? Except, of course, go to a hospital. I'm so embarrassed for jumping into anything with her. Fuck the world. JD. The second text to Dr. Kipper happened 12 days later, in which Johnny said, Thank you for everything. I have chopped off my left middle finger as a reminder that I should never cut my finger off again. I love you, brother. Johnny. Like I said in the last video, it's pretty clear that Johnny was protecting his abuser by blaming the finger incident on himself. But something bothers me about the second text. Johnny had the injury done to his right middle finger, as you can see from the photographs. That's his right hand, not his left. A couple people on Twitter were wondering if these were really Johnny's texts or whether they came from the Sun doctoring things. It's possible the texts were either doctored or not even Johnny's texts. I don't know for sure. Maybe Johnny was still a little muddled after the operation. He had MRSA too, so it's possible he got the two hands confused in that moment out of confusion during the MRSA. Remember, he had 3 bouts of MRSA after the operation where they fixed his finger. He was under 24-hour medical care thanks to Amber Heard. Also, as a reminder, the date the finger incident happened was not March 4th, 2015, as was said in the article. There is no way, if Johnny had his surgery on March 8th, which doctors have confirmed as well, that he would have had that injury on the 4th of March. That would be 4 days before he had his operation. And I'm pretty sure Johnny wouldn't last until then. He probably would have died. So Amber and her lawyers obviously don't have their dates straight. Here's a statement by Adam Waldman in response to these texts being read to the High Court last Wednesday, March 18, 2020. What the court heard today was not evidence. It was Amber Heard's newest story about a late-night bus stop. This is speaking specifically about the part in that testimony about Amber having her nightgown ripped off, thrown up against the refrigerator, and Johnny was playing with her breasts or something like that and mocking her, that stuff. So he's saying back in reality, as hospital records and eyewitness testimony show, Amber Heard's attack story could not have occurred the night of Sunday, March 8th, 2015, as she alleges, because Johnny Depp went to the hospital the early afternoon of March 8, 2015, to reattach the finger Amber Heard severed, and Mr. Depp did not see her again in Australia. Our opponents are so lost in their lies, they can't even get their fake sequence of events, times, or dates straight. Now we have Amber Heard's deposition resurfacing, this time with the audio tape Amber was asked to listen to. In case you haven't heard it, this is the tape that has Amber and Johnny talking about a fight they had in which Amber was trying to get into the bathroom where Johnny Depp was trying to escape from her into. Johnny recounted it by saying, "You just kept coming, you kept coming," and eventually Amber was pushing into the door trying to get to Johnny. According to Amber, Johnny scraped her toes with the door as he was trying to keep her out. Johnny was probably trying to stop Amber coming in the door and accidentally scraped her toes. Well, he was bending down to look at Amber's toes to see how bad the damage was when she kicked the door into his head. Then she came in and punched him in the jaw. I will link the video in the description box. Amber is smirking almost the entire time in the deposition, as she's asked if she's ever hit Johnny Depp. She is asked to confirm whether or not she admitted to hitting Johnny with the door and punching him in the jaw. Amber went on to say words to the effect that she was trying to get away from Johnny as he was chasing her, according to Amber. She said he scraped her toes while trying to get in the door, and she kicked the door at him in self-defense, blah, blah, blah. Amber couldn't even look at anybody in the face. And she had this cookie she was eating right in the middle of her deposition. This is all during her deposition. She couldn't look anybody in the face at all. When she was asked again if she ever hit Johnny Depp, she took a big bite of cookie and chewed it for a few moments before answering the question. It's so obvious why she did that. She wanted time to figure out a good enough answer to that question. And she came up with a creative story about her sister Whitney being in a vulnerable position at the top of a flight of stairs, and Johnny was supposedly going to push her down. So Amber said, paraphrase, that she didn't know what she did or what part of her body she used, but she was acting protectively of her sister's life, and that she is protective of her baby sister. But sooner or later in the depo, she finally admitted to throwing a paint thinner can at Johnny. Amber had it in her declaration that that was the only time she'd ever hit Johnny, when Whitney was supposedly in danger of being pushed down the stairs by Johnny. However, we see how Amber lied in her declaration and lied under oath. I hope she goes to jail for perjury. I think that would happen, actually. Hopefully. Next, we have the trial for the Sun lawsuit that was supposed to happen tomorrow, Monday, pushed back to July. Why? Well, the coronavirus, of course. Johnny is in lockdown over in a remote place in France. It's so remote, they can't do a video link with him where he gives evidence that way. Johnny is doing the right thing by staying there, since we all have to be careful at this time. We don't want him or anyone else getting sick. I wouldn't wish coronavirus on anyone. But of course, Adam Wolonsky, the lawyer for The Sun magazine, says that Johnny is staying home because he's a, quote, coward, and words to the effect that Johnny doesn't want to face the truth, according to Amber. He goes on to say that Amber was ready to fly over from LA and was very keen to come and testify at the trial. At any rate, the judge also didn't want to proceed on March 23rd, tomorrow, Monday, so it was all just as well. Now we get to the texts, which were read aloud in the pre-trial on Wednesday. Johnny was venting to Christian Carino, his friend and talent agent for Creative Artists Agency. Remember, Carino was the one who tried to set Johnny and Amber up in San Francisco, only to have that meeting go wrong. That was another set of texts, which at the time saw Johnny professing his love for Amber, and yet knowing she was fucking with him. That's paraphrased. But about a few weeks later, on August 15th, Johnny was writing to Carino and venting about Amber. He said many things which I have to admit made me laugh in support of Johnny. He has a way with words. I'm sorry, but this was perfect. I'm now going to read this excerpt from the Mirror.com article, which has a text in it. I will link the article in the description box. So here are all the texts Johnny sent to Christian Carino in August 2016 before the trial was slated to happen for their contentious divorce. Johnny said the following: "She's begging for global humiliation. She's gonna get it. I'm gonna need your texts about San Francisco, brother. I'm sorry to even ask, but she sucked Mullah's crooked dick and he gave her some shitty lawyers." Mullah's because he's in Elon Musk. Just FYI. This pretty much states that Elon Musk was helping Amber get lawyers. And that's what Adam Waldman said. These texts have a lot of truth in them. You know, that Elon Musk was helping Amber and was apparently paying for her lawyers. Or he got the lawyers. At any rate, Johnny continued in his texts, "I have no mercy, no fear, and not an ounce of emotion for what I thought was love for this gold-digging, low-level, dime-a-dozen, mushy, pointless, dangling, overused, flappy fish market. I'm so happy she wants to go to fight this out. She will hit the wall hard, and I cannot wait to have this waste of a cum guzzler out of my life. she will hit the wall hard. And then he goes on to say, I met a fucking sublime little Russian here, which made me realize that time I blew on the 50-cent stripper, I would not touch her with a goddamn glove. I can only hope that karma kicks in and takes the gift of breath from her. Sorry, man, but now I will stop at nothing. Johnny was fed up and just venting, totally venting. Anyone would be, and anyone would vent. So these texts were brought to the court as some kind of evidence. There was no evidence there. Johnny has all the evidence. Amber, what does she have but pathetic attempts to keep her lie going? As it says in the Hollywood Reporter article, which I'll link below, here's a statement from Adam Waldman, Johnny Depp's lawyer, of course. He is speaking specifically about the trial having to be adjourned. Mr. Depp has spent years seeking justice. The judge hearing Mr. Depp's defamation case against the Sun raised safety and practicality concerns. Although the case is extremely important to Mr. Depp, he was also uneasy about putting anyone else in harm's way for the sake of it. In contrast, the Sun tabloid failed to read their own newspaper accounts about current events and exhibited their famous disdain for the British public. Ms. Heard's tiny coterie of friends and family, quote, witnesses, half of whom she sued to compel them to testify, also offered to appear by video link in a libel case for which the reporter Dan Wooten himself is too afraid to testify. Mr. Depp will wait for courts and borders to safely reopen, and then we will do this properly. Wait, Amber sued some of her witnesses to compel them to testify? What? How low can she go? Waldman also said in a previous statement that some of Amber's witnesses were recanting their original statements and declarations. I think I'll end on that note. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back. Namaste.